Aaron Schatz, Football Outsiders, ESPN, talking about the Browns' 2025 roster.
I think the Browns are in this mindset, which is it's not going to happen this year. We're building for the future. So what we need to do is get young players some playing time and figure out what they can be. What can Cedric Tillman be? What can, I don't know, Jamari Thrash be? But they don't have a lot of those receivers that are young that they can see what they are going to be. Tillman's in his third year. Thrash is in his second. So, I mean, we know Judy, right? He's, really good. What can Fannin be, right, at tight end? I think their defense is going to be very good. There is a lot of talent on this defense. There's a very good defensive coordinator. There's a very strong chance of a rebound. We know they were very good 2 years ago. What happened last year was, first of all, they don't get that much pressure outside of Garrett, and Mason Graham should help with that a lot. The other is the secondary did not play well last year, but secondary performance is very inconsistent, and the secondary had played well the year before. So it's definitely possible that Ward, Emerson, Newsom, those guys all bounce back this year, and that this defense is pretty good. The problem is that the offense looks awful.
G. Bush, if that secondary bounces back, this could very well be a dominant, top 5 type defense. And here's where I'm going with this. If you think about Jim Schwartz's defenses, wherever he's been, they've been really dominant up the middle. Their tackles get up the field, and they get in the backfield, they create havoc. Well, you've got Mason Graham. You signed Malik Collins, who's really active. Michael Hall Jr., they expect him to be healthy at some point. He can get in the backfield. You added Carson Schlesinger. 1 year of production, but the guy was all over the field. They shored up, the problem was people were running right down their throats last year, and at least they saw it and tried to address it.
Yeah, they've invested a lot at the defensive tackle position. Malik Collins coming in on free agency. You talk about Mason Graham. They traded out of that pick to get, that was the Travis Hunter pick, and they get Mason Graham. You talk about Mike Hall Jr., who they invested a second-round pick in last year. They felt that he was a guy that was very young. He showed some flashes. Isaiah McGuire did very well against the run. You got Alex Wright, who showed some flashes before he got hurt last year with the injury. But, you have some young guys up front. You got some talent, some pieces. Denzel Ward, obviously Myles Garrett. Schlesinger should be a day one starter. They've shored up some of the other linebackers. They went and got I think he went to Ohio State.
Baker.
His name is
Jerome Baker.
Baker. They get Jerome Baker. They take him. And so they've shored some things up a little bit. Now, if you can have a bounce back year from Martin Emerson, a bounce back year from a guy like Greg Newsom, who is in a contract year, both of those guys, I believe, are in contract years. I think Newsom is in his 5th year, and Newsom, because he was a 4th round pick, or third or 4th round pick, does not have the 5th year option. So I believe both of these contracts are, guys that are up for contract years. That always helps you a little bit. If you can get something for Ronnie Hickman, they brought in a lot of other safeties. They probably threw some of the most resources and spots at safety. They brought a lot of guys in, and obviously you have Grant Delpit, who's on the other side. If they can kind of get back to what they want to get to, the Browns could be one of those feisty teams where it's like, hey, they're not going to give you much in terms of explosive offense, but they can be one of those headaches and pesky teams that say, you already know what they're going to do. They got a great defense. They don't give up very many points. They get after the quarterback. They fly around. And then on the offensive end, they use the ball control. They run the ball with 12 personnel. And, they're a team, if they can be a team that don't beat themselves with turnovers and penalties, well, then you keep yourself in a position where you're in a 1-2 score game in the NFL, and that's all you can ask for, especially when it comes down to the end in the 4th quarter. Most of these games, even when the Browns were 0-16, a lot of those games, I believe almost 85% of those games were within a 3-point game within, crunch time. That just goes to show you that parity is a thing in the NFL. And if they can get the defensive side of the ball moving, you raise your upside to the amount of wins that you can get with an offense that is looking for some playmakers.
I've said this a few times in recent weeks. If this defense is not a top 10 defense, I'll be disappointed in it. I think the pieces are there for them to be. And quite frankly, if some of the rookies and young guys play like I think they can, it'd be a top 5 defense.
It could be there. You already got 2 guys. You got 2 pillars. You got Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward at 2 big money positions. It's hard pressed to find a defensive end and a cornerback tandem like that as far as the run and getting after the quarterback from a defensive line perspective, pressure and covering on the back end.